Hi guys, 18 Dapper here and welcome to this video where we take a look at Doncaster Rovers 2021-22 summer transfer window. Let's get the video started. So guys, welcome to this video where we take a look back at Doncaster Rovers summer transfer business. It's been an eventful one. If you're a fan of League One football, you'll know exactly what has happened over the last couple of days. But in this video, we will take a look at the players that we've sold or moved on over the summer, and we'll take a look at the players that we've brought in as well, and have a little bit of a chat about both of those, the outs and ins. But the big part of this video for me is the reaction to the deadline day debacle. As I touched on, if you're a League One football fan, you'll have seen what happened on deadline day for Doncaster Rovers. Frustrating one, but we will get to that a little later on. But first, we will start with the players out over the summer, and we'll start with the loanees returning to their parent clubs. We have lost a big number of players from our squad last season. Some key players here: Taylor Richards, Tyrese John Jules, Matt Smith, Elliot Simoes, Ellery Balcom, Josh Sims and Scott Robertson. Some good players in there that I would definitely like to see within our squad this season, especially the three pictured on screen: Josh Sims, Tyrese John Jules and Taylor Richards. Taylor Richards, fantastic technical player, could turn it on at any moment. Tyrese, great goal scorer, something that we are lacking in our squad. And Josh Sims, initially a very good winger, very quick and got at defences in League One. Had the injury partway through the season. We got him back, which we didn't expect for the remainder of the season. Didn't quite hit the heights in the second half of the season of what he did in the first, but no player did last season at the back end of the season. Very unfortunate kind of turnaround in form last season for us, and no player really stood out in a positive light for those last 12 to 20 games, I think it was. But yeah, Taylor, Tyrese, Josh, I'd like to see them back in a Rovers shirt, especially with the way that our squad is looking. But we lost 7 loanees back to their parent clubs in the summer. And then moving on to our sold, released or loaned out or retired players over the summer. Reece James going to Blackpool, fantastic player, very versatile, one of the better players last season, and did himself no injustice throughout the campaign. As I say, very versatile, played all over the park, popped up with a few goals as well. Wish we still had him in our squad. Andy Butler also gone, Ian Lawler, Brad Halliday to Fleetwood, Danny Amos, Maggi Gomez, Jason Lakilo, Joe Wright, Lira Kasani currently out on loan, and obviously James Coppinger retiring over the summer. And the 4 guys pictured, Wright, James, Lakilo and Cops, I think would fit very well in our squad at the moment. Struggling for defenders with Tom Anderson being injured. I think if Reece James was still here, we could push Tommy Rowe a little bit further forward to give us an outlet on the wing. Cops on the other wing, or creating in and around the box. And Lakilo, I think he picked up towards the end of last season, so I think we have lost a couple of decent players in there. Some names in that which I'm not too fussed to see go. Not so much clearing out the deadwood, but releasing players or selling players that are just not within the plans, and I don't think that they got any sort of game time. But as you can see, a lot of players leaving throughout the summer. A total of 17 players exiting the Keepmoat Stadium, exiting Doncaster Rovers. 7 of those loanees and 10 permanent players which have gone, and it left Richie with a bit of a mammoth task rebuilding a squad. And I've said for a long time the board have been very transparent with the plans and the kind of expectations this season. Over the summer they said that it's going to be a rebuild, and to be fair, up until the last couple of weeks, and especially transfer deadline day, I was on board, and I thought things were getting done the right way. I thought the rebuild was looking good. I think we've been unfortunate with injuries and COVID and everything else surrounding that. But yeah, the last couple of weeks and especially deadline day has frustrated me somewhat, and it's frustrated a lot of Doncaster Rovers fans. But moving on to the players we'll try and put a positive spin on this one. The loanees, I think the crop of loanees are very good this season. We've only got 5, so we are at the limit, I believe. I think the limit is 5 or the limit is 6. I'm not 100% sure. But the loanees that we've got, I think, on the majority are decent. Pontus Dahlberg, although the error at Accrington Stanley cost us points, I think he has kept us in games and kept us in touching distance in games this season already with some fantastic saves, great penalty saves. I think he's going to be a fantastic keeper in years to come. Ethan Galbraith looks a very tidy player in the centre of the park, as does Matt Smith. Along with Bostock in there, I think we've got a very strong midfield. I think the recruitment on the loan side is good. I really do. The one which is missing the mark at the minute for me is Thiago Chukwu. He came with such promise and such high expectations. Turkey's next big thing, and it's just not quite, well, it's not done it at the minute, in my opinion. Is it the lack of chances being created for him? Is it a bit of a culture shock playing professional football and getting bullied by big, strong defenders who have been in and around the game for years? I'm hoping that the more experience he gets this season as it goes on, we see the best side of him. He looks strong, powerful for an 18-year-old. Watching him in the warm-ups and stuff, he's got a cracking shot on him. His accuracy is not too bad, but then as soon as it's the game time, he just struggles at the minute, and I'm hoping that it's just going to take a little bit of time to get him up to speed, and it's one where I'm hoping to see him develop over the season, but at the minute he's not hit the mark for me. And then deadline day, Rodrigo Vilca, one from completely left field. Nobody expected it. Honestly, I don't think the club expected it. I don't think the player expected it. I don't know too much about him. Played in the Peruvian league. Is currently at Newcastle under 23s. Seen some bits and pieces on social media saying that he's good on the ball, but he's a little bit lightweight, which concerns me in League One. There's some big, strong players in League One that don't give you any time or any space, and he'll know that he's in a game. And for me, Rodrigo, by the sounds of things, is not the player that we needed on deadline day. It was a striker and it was a winger. He's neither of those. He plays as a number 10, but I'm trying to reserve judgment and kind of come to a conclusion once I've seen him play. I don't want to write him off before he's kicked a ball. I am totally against that from a fan base. I'd sooner let him have a couple of games, get into the swing of it, and then judge him on that. But welcome, Rodrigo. It's a tough place to come in, a tough situation, but I'm sure, hopefully, you hit the ground running. We will see. So for me, the loanees, 3 out of the 5 so far, spot on. Chukwu not hitting the heights that I thought he would initially, and then Rodrigo reserving judgment at the minute. And then moving on to permanent players that we've signed. So I think the remit was to get a core group of players and start building an identity once again. And I feel that we've started to do that. This is the first transfer window that Richie Wellens has had, and I think the permanents that he's brought in are of a decent quality. Aidan Barlow, Dan Gardner, Kyle Noyle, Ben Close, Geordie Huwula, Roshan Williams and Tommy Rowe. For me, they're 7 quality signings which I think have more than replaced the 10 that left. The 10 permanent signings that left. I think Aidan Barlow, one of the players yet to hit that form. Dan Gardner as well, kind of on the fringes at the minute, but I think Kyle Noyle has started the season very well, looks very positive going down the right hand side. I think Ben Close looks assured in the midfield. Geordie Huwula, unfortunately, we've not seen him play yet, currently injured. I think Roshan Williams has started okay. There's a couple of errors in him, but there's not really been a settled back four at the minute. And then Tommy Rowe, fantastic player. I'd like to see him play further up the field, but at left back, it gives us an outlet, but at the minute it's just not quite clicking because that attacking threat is just not there with Huula, Taylor, Okanabiri out, Bogle's frozen out. So it's a tough time, but I think the signings that Rich has brought in are very positive. I think they're of a high quality. As I say, I think they're a better quality than the 10 that have left. But it leaves a big gap. We've known that the attacking area has been struggling from game one, and this is where the frustrations start to come in, because transfer deadline day came and went, and the total number of players that were brought in is 12, 5 loanees, 7 permanent, and with the amount of players leaving and the amount of players remaining from last season, it leaves us a very threadbare squad, and we've seen that with injuries and COVID, it's been a very tough start to the season for us Rovers fans. And then, kind of touching on deadline day, or a few weeks before, as I say, anybody who's watched the Rovers over the last couple of weeks or since the first game of the season against Wimbledon, you'll see that the football is neat, the football is tidy, and credit to Richie Wellens for fetching the players in who can play that kind of football. But by the sounds of things, the budget has been blown on getting that core defence and midfield ticking. But the attacking threat is just non-existent. So for a good number of weeks, a lot of people have been begging for funds. On social media, Richie Wellens himself has said that he needs a winger and a striker. He's been out on his press conferences saying the exact same thing. And the board have seemed to hold, well, they've held back. They've held the funds back, said that there's no more funds available. We need to offload players, i.e. Ed Williams and Omar Bogle, to free up those funds to then bring in that striker or that winger. And for me, it's one of those where if they've set a budget and Rich has spent that budget, and then we've been unfortunate with injuries and what have you, it's one of those things where should the board have to dig into the pocket to kind of bulk that squad up, or is it a set budget? The thing that frustrated me on deadline day was that the funds magically appeared. So they've been there all along. They've been working on deals. If the deal was there, ready to be signed and sealed, then put the funds in at that point. Still try and offload the players that you don't want, and then take that money back out. Surely that would have made sense rather than waiting so long and leaving it till the last minute to get things done. For me, that's not the Doncaster Rovers way. A lot of the transfers were signed and sealed quite early on in the window, and it's not very often that we leave it till the last minute to get a signing or get a deal done. So looking on social media and seeing post after post saying that there's deals done, we've been speaking to players and everything else, you'll see it on the feeds. When the funds were released, I thought, happy days. They've been quite savvy business-wise, trying to get a decent player at a lower rate. They've said that they've got X amount of money and that's it, and the deal was done. But then some extra funds have been put in, and for me, I thought that Will Grigg was sat there, pen in hand, ready to sign, but then it just started to unravel from there. So on deadline day, we had a striker and a winger. The winger was on loan, I believe. The striker was Will Grigg on a 3-year permanent, according to whatever articles you read. But as soon as the funds have been released to bring these players in, it was unnervingly quiet. There was very little put out from the official page or from the media team or anything like that. And as the day went on, we found out why. Rotherham came in for Will Grigg, and there was a bit of to-in and fro-in, and he decided to go to our local rivals instead of us, and that hurt a lot. Very frustrating to miss out on our primary target, but we had 4 other targets that were irons in the fire, and none of those came off as well. as we got closer and closer and closer to 11 o'clock. 9:30 came, Ricardo was announced, which caught everybody by surprise. As I said earlier in the video, I hope he does well, but we just don't know enough about him to say if he's going to be what we need or what we're actually looking for. He definitely wasn't the first choice loanee from the Premier League, the winger. But then, as 11 o'clock came on, closer and closer, Will Grigg was announced at 11 PM, which I think Rotherham held off to rub salt in the wounds. But there were a number of posts kind of building up to what we thought was going to be a striker announcement at Donny Rovers. And then around 11:30, 11:45, we found out that the wrong paperwork had been sent over and we'd missed out on the main area, or the two main areas that we needed to build on. And I think the lack of planning and the poor handling of this transfer window has really frustrated me. It's deflated me. I backed the board to the hilt, and for me they've let the fan base down in this instance, by clearly knowing and seeing what was needed, waiting till the last minute, and then it being a mad panic, and we've missed the boat, which is it's annoying. It's so frustrating that I'm struggling for words to kind of explain how frustrated it made me yesterday. That anger spilled out from the fans. The anger was aimed towards the board. Some of it got thrown my way, it got thrown Liam Odin's way, it got thrown Aaron Challoner's way. I get it, the frustration does boil over. I've been accused of being up the board's backside. I can honestly say on here I am not. I feel very lucky, very privileged to do work alongside the club, and I do it in my own time. I do it for free. I do it because I enjoy it and I love the club, and the guys in the media team are fantastic in what they do. I've always prided myself on this channel to give my honest opinion on anything, on any game. If we've not been good enough, I've said that we've not been good enough. Whatever my opinion, I've always said it on the channel, and there's no influence from the club. You guys can make up your own minds. I respect that. I just want to get it out there that there is no influence from Doncaster Rovers in what I say. I honestly thought the board were doing the right things. I think as a club, in general, we are run very sensibly and very well. But in this instance, it has been very, very frustrating, and I think they've let us down as a fan base. That doesn't mean that I'm bored out. I think they've made mistakes. I think they've made mistakes in the past. It's how we react to that and move forward. There's still the free agents. It's not the greatest thing, but you never know. There may be a gem in there that comes in and does the business for us. If we don't get somebody in, I fear for our season, because come January, it may be too late, especially with the start that we've had. But that is my reaction to deadline day and our signings and transfer window as a whole. Had yesterday not happened how it happened, I think it'd have been a very positive transfer window. If we'd have got the winger and the striker in, I think it'd have been very, very positive. But yesterday has put a very sour taste in my mouth. Very frustrated. And that is where I'm going to leave this video. If you've enjoyed it, please stick a big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. Thank you for the support on the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.